The Chinese market. You must have heard that the Chinese market is massive. I don't think I need to explain in too much detail, right? Because every international brand and companies, they just want to get into the Chinese market. If you are a brand owner or a business owner, right, and you are thinking to expand your business into different countries, the first country you may be thinking of is China. And in this video, I'm going to explore the Chinese market with you. And then I'm going to let you know where to start and how to start it if you want to sell your products and service in the Chinese market. My name is Fung Cheng, and I have been doing export and import business in China for over 10 years. If you are interested in learning more about the Chinese market, be sure to subscribe my YouTube channel and click the bell button. So let's get started. Let's talk about the size of the Chinese market. So the Chinese market is like a mystery, right? A lot of foreign companies just want to get in, sell their product, service into the market. But on the other hand, a lot of companies, they are saying there's just too much obstacle. The size of the Chinese market is huge. The volume of the customer base is actually one of the biggest one in the world. And they have growing middle class. The class, right, the levels of consumer that has a lot of purchasing power. The middle class group is just keep growing each year. So it really makes sense that if you're a brand owner or a company that you got a great product or service, you want to sell it to China. The market is attractive, in fact, but not many companies are doing well, to be honest. So what's stopping this company? There's actually a lot of common misconceptions and mistakes that the foreign company makes. So I'm going to discuss that one by one with you. So the first misconception a lot of foreign companies makes when they are entering into the China market is that they think that the strategy that works in their countries, in the Western countries, also works in China, such as their strategies, right? Their marketing strategies, their pricing, the branding and positioning and stuff. Well, it is true that they have been doing very well in their Western countries, but that just doesn't work in China. And the second mistake is that they have underestimated the competition in China. A lot of foreign brands and even the local Chinese brand, they have a lot of budget, marketing budget, right, to penetrate into the market. If you don't have a good budget, right, or at least a good marketing strategies, then you're gonna face some problems. And then the third mistake is that they ignore regional differences within China. When you visit China, you're gonna see a lot of different cities, right? And each cities, they have different culture, okay? And they have different consumption level. I'll just give you a simple example, right? In China, in certain province or cities, right? People just love spicy food. They can't live without spicy food. And in the other province, right? They are just scared of it. They want to stay away from the spicy food. Say you got a Mexico hot sauce, if you want to sell it to China, right? Then you gotta know where are you gonna sell your product to. I think you get my point. There's a lot of different preference and cultures that you gotta understand them first. Which comes to our next mistake. As a brand owner, you failed to adapt your products to the local taste and value. Because you have been doing very well selling your products or service in your countries for many, you just don't see the need to adjust your product or service or do some rebranding to a market that has different taste and value. So this is the most common misconception and mistakes for a lot of foreign companies. And there is a lot of challenges faced by the foreign brands and company as well. And I'm going to discuss that one by one. The first one is language barrier. This one is simple, right? The Chinese language is very different from English. And this can make it difficult for foreign brands to communicate with Chinese consumers. Let's make it a simple example, right? Say you got an official website for your brand or company, right? It is in English. And then you can expect the Chinese consumer to be fully engaged with your brand and company information when they visit your website. You may be saying, well, I'll do a Chinese version of a website. I'll just translate, the information from the English version to a Chinese version. But that just means that you are doing some translation. It doesn't mean that you are having a real Chinese website that fits, the Chinese culture. Try to imagine, how many times that when you are browsing on the internet, right, you find a website, and then when you go into the website, you've actually find some weird, some awkward English that you understand that, but you're just feeling that, the website is awkward. You kind of have a feeling that, well, the first impression is that this website isn't professional, right? I might not be trusting this company behind the website. And the second impression that you might be having is that, this company, well, I can see that they are trying to sell us, right? They are having their English website. They are translate from their language, but they are not putting enough budget into it. As a result, this company sucks. The website sucks. You see my point. So even though you get all the grammar or punctuation right, but the audience or potential customer, they just can't feel it. So you can see the differences between just having something translate and having a real localized website that really hit the audience. Cultural differences. This one is simple, right? If you do not know the Chinese consumer, their cultures, their expectation, their values, what they like and what they dislike, how could you market your products or services to them? You don't even know what they want. You just look like a mad salesman, right? You keep saying, how good is your product, right? You want to push your products to the potential buyers. You are not getting their real demand. Regulations. So this one is not just for the Chinese market. If you are doing international business, especially the international trading, right? You gotta spend your time to do a lot of homeworks, about the regulation, the custom duty and policy and stuff of different countries. But this homework is actually pretty tough because, even the local company, right, the Chinese company, when you ask them what is, the policy of exporting and importing certain products, right? If they have experience, they know it, but if they have never done that before, it's gonna be as tough, as you try to find out the answer. This one is not just for the foreign companies. It's also for the local company as well. But, you just need to do your homework. And the homework is tough if you're very new to that industry. So what are the tips for selling to China? There are lots of tips and steps, for a company like you to sell your product and service to China. But I'm going to discuss some of the tips that I think is most useful to you. The first tip is that you, as the owner of your brand or business, you gotta have your Chinese social media account. The Chinese social media platforms such as WeChat, 小红书, they are essential for reaching Chinese consumers. It is not just about reaching the potential Chinese customers. It is about, you get to understand how the Chinese audience in the social media accounts, they respond to your brand and business. With the social media accounts, you have the chance, right? A good bridge between your brand, your company, and the Chinese potential customers. You're gonna learn a lot from these Chinese audience. You're gonna see, how they like your post, your company values, your products and stuff. And the second reason is that you can actually build up a lot of trust and authority by having a good base of Chinese consumers and audience. Just try to think it this way. So let's say in your countries or any other Western countries, right? You are doing some research on a certain brand or companies. One of the places that you go to is the Facebook page of the business. Even though you are not going to the Facebook page directly, you are still going to Google it, right? But it's gonna be the same because when you Google it, the first couple of the results is gonna be Facebook page as well. So no matter what, you're gonna end up on their Facebook page. Okay, here's my point. You go to their Facebook page. What if you see only 20 followers? When a business only have 20 followers and the last post that they have made was 2 years ago, as a potential buyers, are you gonna trust these companies or not? Right? So you get my point. It's just gonna be the same when you are doing the Chinese market, right? The potential buyers in China, they will just, try to search your brand or companies on any social medias and platforms possible. It is not just for China, but this is actually, buyer psychology, right? When you want to buy something or you first hear of a new product or service, you will do some research. And the number of the followers or the subscriber of a brand, on the social media account is going to influence your buying decision. So this is actually a very common mistake that a lot of foreign companies, make when they are thinking, well, I can just, sell to China without, building up my trust and authority on the Chinese social media platform. And the second tip is that you want to have a real Chinese official website. What I mean by real, it means that it is more than just doing a translation, right? You have got a good budget and you have got a good ambition. Stop thinking that you can just hire a part-time Chinese student, right, to do the translation for you. You may not see the difference, but it kind of look like a joke, right, to the Chinese audience, because you're really not hitting what they like, and what they are concerned about. The message, the information, the value of the content, right, the context you are giving is actually worse than local Taobao store. Once you get the official website right, then the next step you gotta think of, how can I gain traffic, right? You know that in China, the Google is not available in China, so we use Baidu, right? You have to do, you need to keep optimizing your website, your blogging, your external links. Just the same system, same logic as you are doing in the foreign country. The logic in terms of the traffic and SEO is the same as what you are doing for Google, right? But in China, it is Baidu. The next tip is that you gotta over localized customer service. And then you're thinking, well, I can just sit back and the Chinese potential customer is gonna come to us. Well, it's just kind of too early for that, because in the Western countries, we usually use emails for the inquiries, right? A lot of back and forth by emails. Let's say you have got pretty engaging, pretty active Chinese social media accounts, and you have got a real Chinese official website. But sending emails is just not popular in China. The reason, one of the main reasons is because, the Chinese potential customers, the buyers, they want instant response from the seller. If you don't believe it, just try to go to the Taobao.com or JD.com, try it by yourself. Try to message the sellers, the stores on this platform. And as soon as you send out the message, your inquiries, the standard of a good response time is within 30 seconds. It sounds crazy, isn't it? I know it sounds crazy, especially in the Western countries, because it usually takes at least 1 or 2 days for the emails to get respond. But in China, that just doesn't work. When you go to Taobao, JD, or any other platform, right? You expect to be replied in 30 seconds. If you add the WeChat of the sellers of the company, right? You expect instant acceptance of the invitation and then instant response from the seller. Because of this culture, right? You gotta have your localized team, a team that can handle instant communication with the potential buyers in China. It really doesn't matter if you are doing B2C, direct to the consumer, or B2B, doing wholesaling. It doesn't really matter. It is still the same in the Chinese market. And the last tip is that you gotta be prepared to adapt your products and services. Stop thinking like, this is my brand, and I'm not gonna change anything of it. As a brand owner or a company owner, right? Sometimes if you want to get in the Chinese market, you do need to change your mindset. Just look at McDonald's, right? The KFCs. They have to change when they get into the Chinese market. Just look at their menu, right? They sell a lot of fried rice, fried noodles, congee, on their menu in the Chinese market. See, even the top brands, the top fast food restaurant in the world, they have got to change when to get into the market. And this is what you gotta do too. Because if you don't, you have failed to really understand your customer needs. But for the value, the vision, the belief of your brand, you actually don't need to change it, right? Because this is your brand. What you're gonna do is that you gotta change your product or service, adjust it so it suits the customer need. All right, so that is it. So I hope you like my video. If you like this kind of topic, be sure to subscribe my YouTube channel. If you want more tips and tricks, for your marketing campaign in China, just click the link in the description below. Go to our website and subscribe to our email list, because we are gonna send you a weekly, every week, we're gonna send you some special tips and tricks, for your business in China. Many of them are gonna be the secret from my business experience. If you'd like to have them, just go to the link below and subscribe to my email list. Thank you guys, and I will see you in my next video.